Hello, this is Crystal Racing here with another video about ranking the junior careers of the 2020 F1 drivers. Because there's a lot to talk about, I will be incredibly terse about most of the drivers here. 23rd, it's Nicholas Latifi, who, for me, had the worst junior career of all the drivers competing this season. Career highlights include finishing 7th in the Italian Formula 3 Championship, finishing 10th in the 2014 Formula 3 European Championship, where the likes of Ocon and Verstappen were competing. Took 4 wins in the Florida Winter Series for the Ferrari Junior program. And then he spent 4 years in GP2, where he spent 4 years with Dams and finished runner-up to Nick de Vries in 2019 before joining Williams. Next up, it is Pietro Fittipaldi, who has some junior titles, winning the NASCAR Whelen All-American Series, although it was an individual track championship, but when he was 15. Won the Pro Time Formula Renault Championship with 10 wins in 15 races, a British series for those wondering, but struggled in many other European Formula Renault categories. Won the MRF Challenge Formula 2000, which is an Indian series where he won 4 races in 14 races. Also took 2 years to win the World Series Formula V8 3.5 series, where he took 6 wins in his second year in 2017 to win and dominate the championship. Then competed in IndyCar, Super Formula, and was supposed to compete in the FIA World Endurance Championship before a leg-breaking injury cancelled his entry. He also then went to DTM, where he scored no podiums or any significant results before, of course, appearing in F1 this year. 21st place is Jack Aitken, who finished third in his first year in the Dunlop Interstep Series. Finished runner-up in his first year in the Formula Renault 2.0 North European Championship despite not winning a race. And then, of course, in 2015, he dominated Eurocup Formula Renault 2.0 with 5 wins in 17 races, Formula Renault 2.0 Alps, and the ProMaster Winterfest. But it has to be remembered he was already 20 years old at this point. Then he spent a couple of years in GP3, where he won 2 races and finished runner-up to George Russell. And then, of course, moved to Formula 2 for the past 3 years to compete for ART and Campos, where he was finished 11th, and then 5th, then 14th, taking 4 wins, but his results have deteriorated in the past year or so. 20th place, it is Alex Albon, who has never taken a junior title, but in 3 years of competing in Eurocup, Formula Renault 2.0 and the Formula Renault North European Championship, he took just 1 victory, found himself kicked out of the Red Bull Driver Academy, being forced to move to McLaren and Lotus for their academies, before in 2015 he moved to the FIA Formula 3 European Championship, took 2 poles in 33 races. And then, of course, he went to GP3, where he won 4 races and 18 races in 2016 and finished up to Charles Leclerc. Then spent 2 years in FIA Formula 2, where he finished third in his second year with Dams, winning 4 races and took 3 poles. But it has to be said, though, a lot of Alex Albon's success really came in his karting days, where he beat the likes of Esteban and Leclerc on a regular basis. But, of course, he's not been able to translate that into his car racing career. Next up, in 19th place, it is Sergio Perez, who never won any junior category outright. He won the British Formula 3 national class, but that was in a small field of about 500 cars, where most of the so-called wins were category wins. But throughout that time, though, he struggled in Skip Bob and National Championship in America. He didn't win a single race in his 2 years of Formula BMW ADAC. Had 2 outings in the A1 Grand Prix Series for Mexico in the World Cup of Motorsport, but achieved nothing of note. Won a couple of races in the GP2 Asia Series, then, of course, he moved to the GP2 official series, where it took him until 2010 to compete for the championship, winning 5 races in 20 races, but lost out to Pastor Maldonado. But nonetheless, that was enough to impress Sauber to give him a seat for 2011. Antonio Giovinazzi is up next. Won Formula Pilos to China, where he was up against some mediocre opposition such as Stroll, Galeo today, but won. But of course, Galeo has been pivotal in funding Giovinazzi's career. Won 2 races in Formula Baffin when he was 19 years old. Finished runner-up in the British Formula 3 Championship a year later, where he lost out to Jordan King. And then he also spent 3 years in the European Formula 3 Championship, competing for WR Racing, Kimi's Or Junior team, and then, of course, the Carling team, sponsored by Sean Galeos, where in his second year he stepped up to compete for the championship and won 6 races in 33 races, but was dominated by Felix da Costa. But 2016 was a year where he stepped up to challenge Pierre Gasly for the championship, won 5 races and 22 races, and of course then won a testing contract with the likes of Ferrari, Sauber and Haas. Next up, it is Daniel Ricciardo, who, believe it or not, had a fairly modest junior career. Finishing 3rd in the Formula BMW Asia Series with 2 wins in 19 races. Then it took until 2008 to be able to win the Formula Renault 2.0 West European Championship and finish runner-up in the Eurocup Formula Renault 2.0. Plenty of wins and podiums, but then 2009 he won the British Formula 3 Championship with 7 wins in 20 races, beating Max Chilton and René van der Zand. Then, of course, spent 2 years in Formula Renault 3.5 Series, finished runner-up to Michael Alonso, and then with winning 5 races in his 2 years in the series before, of course, going off to do testing for Toro Rosso and then make his race debut for the HRT team. Next up, it is Kevin Magnussen, who won his national Formula 4 series back in his home country of Denmark, but then had to look for funding before, of course, when he did find funding, he finished 2nd in the Formula Renault 2.0 North European Championship, but just took 1 win. Competed in German Formula 3 in 2010, where he took 3 wins in 18 races. Then finished runner-up to Felipe Nasser in the British Formula 3 Championship with 7 wins in 29 races. Then competed in the Formula Renault 3.5 Series, where he competed against the likes of Gasly, Sainz and Kvyat and many other talented drivers to dominate 2013 with 5 wins in 17 races and earn a contract to replace Sergio Perez because of that. Next up, it is Lance Stroll, who won the Italian Formula 4 Championship when he was just 15 years old with 7 wins in 18 races. Then he spent a couple of years in the FIA Formula 3 European Championship. His first season in 2015 for Prema was slightly mediocre, winning just 1 race towards the end of that year at Hockenheim with 5th place in the championship, but then dominated 2016 with 14 wins in 30 races and 20 podiums, beating the likes of George Russell, Nick Cassidy and many other talented drivers such as Max Gunther, Joel Eriksson, Callum Aylor, Anton Hubert and many more. But of course, because of his dad's many millions, he was able to then buy a seat at Williams. Not sure what he would have done if he'd gone to Formula 2, but I've ranked him 15th. Next up, it is Valtteri Bottas. Looking at his record, now he started off well, finishing 3rd in the Formula Renault 2.0 NEC Championship, whilst of course someone like Daniel Ricciardo was struggling. Won 3 races in 4 races at the Formula Renault UK Winter Series, where he won 3 in 4, but didn't get given a trophy for some reason because he was a guest driver. 2008 saw him dominate the Formula Renault 2.0 championships with 17 wins across 28 races in the Formula Renault Championship, whether it was Euro Cup or the NEC Series, winning both series with absolute devastation. But then he spent 2 years in the Formula 3 Euros Series, where across those 2 years he finished third twice, but only picked up 2 wins and picked up 9 podiums in what was a tough couple of years there with ART, and really disappointed despite having Mercedes machinery. But then in 2011 he went to GP3 and won the championship with a strong second half of the season with 4 wins in the last 7 races, and earned himself a testing contract with Williams because of that. 13th place it is Carlos Sainz, who actually has a bit of a patchy record in the junior series. Finished 4th in his first year in the Formula BMW Series Europe with 2 wins in 16, then took 3 wins in 9 at the Pacific section of that series. Made many other guest appearances in various other championships, then finished 2nd in the Euro Cup Formula Renault 2.0 series of 2011, won the Formula BMW 2.0 North European Championship outright, taking 8 wins in 20 races, and making it a very successful year where he competed against the likes of Danny Kvyat. 2012 saw him compete in British Formula 3, and of course the European Formula 3 Championship, where he took 3 wins across about 50 races, but did not compete for either championships. GP3 saw another tough year for Carlos, where he took only 2 podiums, whilst of course his longtime foe Danny Kvyat dominated the series and earned himself a seat at Toro Rosso, whilst Carlos Sainz was forced to move to the Formula Renault 3.5 series, where he managed to just about beat Pierre Gasly with 7 wins in 17 races, but didn't take any other podiums under his wins in a very interestingly erratic year. 12th place, it is Danny Kvyat, who gets 12th place because he managed to make his mark on the junior categories much sooner than Carlos Sainz did. Started slowly in the Formula BMW Europe Series, where he took 10th place in 16 races. Then 2011 saw him burst into life, where he took 9 wins across the Formula Renault Cup and the Formula Renault 2.0 NEC series, but lost out to Carlos Sainz in both series. 2012 saw him finish runner-up in the Formula Renault 2.0 Euro Cup series and won the Formula Series outright. 2013 then saw him make an amazing step up to the GP3 series, where he took 3 wins in the second half of the year and won the championship in a similar manner to how Bottas did a couple of years. And he also competed in the European Formula 3 Championship, where he won 1 race in about 20 odd races, but was not classified in the championship despite his impressive results. But his surge through the junior ranks impressed Red Bull enough to give him a ride at Toro Rosso for 2014. Next up in 11th place, and I know this might be a bit controversial, it's Pierre Gasly. Finished 3rd in the 2011 French Formula 4 Championship with 4 wins in 14 races. 2012 was a quiet year where he didn't win a single race in either the Euro Cup Formula 4 Renault Championship nor the NEC Series, but took 3 podiums. 2013 saw him win the Euro Cup Series outright with 3 wins in 14 races. 2014 saw him finish runner-up in the Formula Renault 3.5 Series, but didn't take a single win despite taking 8 podiums in the 17 races. Then he competed in GP2 for a couple of years, where He had a quiet first year where, despite taking pole 3 times, he took a few podiums here and there to finish 8th, while Stoffel Vandoorne ran away with the championship. Then 2016 saw him beat Antonio Giovinazzi rather narrowly with 4 wins, 4 pole positions, but again, he didn't really rubber stamp his mark. But then, of course, he went to Japan for the Super Formula Series in 2017, where he finished runner-up with 2 wins and a podium, before, of course, being called up by Toro Rosso to replace Danny Crivier and Carlos Sainz. Next up, it is Esteban Ocon, who, again, you may find you could argue, but it's a bit controversial, but his speed through the junior ranks has put him much higher up for me. First year in 2012, he did not win a single race in either Formula Renault Series, the Euro Cup or the Alps Series, but took 3 podiums. 2013 saw him finish 3rd in the Euro Cup Series with a couple of wins in 14 races. Also won a race in the North European Championship there. 2014 though saw him move to the European Formula 3 Championship, where he won the championship with 9 wins in 33 races and took 21 poles and 21 podiums, I beg your pardon, and 15 poles, and was able to beat the likes of Max Verstappen, Latifi and Tom Blomqvist in what was a fantastic year. But he was forced to then move across to the GP3 Series of 2015, where he won the championship despite just a single win in the opening race of the series, and then finished 2nd place in 9 consecutive races from Silverstone until Sochi, and won the championship thanks to his brilliant consistency ahead of Luca Giotto. 2016 saw him move to the DTM Series, where he only scored 2 points and had very disappointing results for Mercedes before being called up to replace Ru Haryanto at the Manor team. And of course, next up, it is Kimi Raikkonen. Some may find this a little bit strange that I've ranked him so high up, but his speed through the junior categories was just amazing. 1999, when he was 19 years old, he won all 4 races in the Formula Renault UK Winter Championship, dominating the series with poles and just 4 points. And then, of course, 2000, his 2nd year, he dominated the Formula Renault UK Championship with 7 wins in 10 races, obliterating the field with 10 podiums as well, and also won 2 races in the 2 races he competed in the Formula Renault Euro Cup Series, competing against the likes of Felipe Massa and a few other talented drivers, before, of course, making us ferret an astonishing rise to Formula 1 with Sauber, where he had his super license put on probation for the first 4 races due to only having competed in 23 car races. Next up, it is Sebastian Vettel in 8th place, who in his first 2 years of Formula BMW ADAC, he took 23 wins in 39 races, finished runner-up in the first year, and then dominated 2004 with 18 wins in 20 races, taking one of the most crushing junior Formula Championship wins ever. Then he spent the next 2 years in 05 and 06 in the Formula 3 Euro Series. He finished down in 5th in 05 when Lewis Hamilton dominated the field and took 6 podiums, but then 2006 saw him not lose the championship to Paul di Resta, as his testing duties for BMW Sauber saw him somewhat distracted and unable to really focus on winning that championship. Then he spent the first half of 2007 competing, doing 7 races in the Formula Renault 3.5 series, and because of his strong results early on with 4 podiums and a win at the Nürburgring, he managed to score enough points to finish 5th in that year's championship despite missing out the last 10 races. Next up, in 7th place, it is none other than Max Verstappen, who, of course, competed in just 1 year's worth of car racing. Competed in the Formula Winter Series, where he competed against the likes of Lance Stroll, Antonio Fuoco and Nicholas Latifi. Took 2 wins in 12 races. and 5 podiums. Then he finished third in his first full season of the FIA European Formula 3 Championship, 10 wins in 33 races, 16 podiums, and completely won all 3 races at both Spa and the Norris Ring in what was an amazing campaign. Also won races at Hockenheim, the Nürburgring and Imola, and because of that was enough to impress Herbert Marko, and of course, as we all know, the rest is history. 6th place, it is George Russell, who we all know won his the BRDC Formula 4 Championship back in 2014 when he was just 16 years old, 5 wins in 24 races. However, he also did races in Formula Renault 2.0 Alps, but did not win a race there. And but in 2015, he then moved across to the FIA Formula 3 European Championship, where he won just 1 race in 33 in a year that was won by Felix Rosenqvist, and saw Antonio Giovinazzi compete for the championship. 2016 saw him finish 3rd in the same series again for High Tech Grand Prix in a season dominated by Lance Stroll, and he only took 2 wins during that year. But 2017 though saw him win the GP3 Championship for ART with 4 wins, beating Jack Aiken comfortably. Then 2018 saw him really raise his game up at ART in the Formula 2 Championship, taking 7 wins, 5 pole positions in a dominant campaign against the likes of Alex Albon and Lando Norris in what was a very good campaign, and went to Williams afterwards. Then in 5th place, it is none other than Charles Leclerc. Of course, Charles Leclerc spent 4 years in the junior ranks, finishing runner-up in the Formula Renault 2.0 Alps Series, where he lost out to Nick de Vries, but of course he was a lot younger than him. 2015 saw him move across to the Formula 3 European Championship, taking 4 wins in 33 races, and finished 4th in a decent campaign. 2016 saw him win the GP3 series for ART with 3 wins in 18 races and beat Alex Albon to the championship. Then 2016 saw him dominate Formula 2 for Prema, where he took 7 wins in 22 races, 8 poles, 4 fastest laps, 10 podiums. Of course, around this time, he lost his godfather, George Bianchi, to that accident. His dad died at the age of 55. And of course, what is forgotten about Charles Leclerc is that he has been very resilient in his approach. And of course, around this time when he went to around 2016, he was also signed up to the Ferrari Junior Academy, and of course when he won his first race at Belgium, of course that came after the death of Antoine Hubert. So we got to remember Charles Leclerc is a resilient character, and that's why he's in 5th place. In 4th place, it is Lewis Hamilton. Looking at his junior record, he started off a little bit slowly in the 2001 Formula Renault Winter Series with no wins in 4 races and no podiums, but then in 2002 he took 3 wins in 14 races in the British full-time championship and 7 podiums. He also won a race in the Formula Renault Euro Cup Series despite just 4 races there, but finished 5th in the championship. 2003 saw him win the Formula Renault UK title with 10 wins in 15 races and a fantastic campaign. Also competed in many other various races such as British Formula 3 and a few Formula Renault car races in Germany and Europe. 2004 saw him move to the British Formula 3 Euro Series with 1 win in 20 races, but finished 5th in the championship behind Nico Rosberg. Also won the Bahrain Super Prix race. 2005 saw him then dominate Formula 3 Euro Series with 15 wins in 20 races for ASM. Took 13 poles, 10 fastest laps, 17 podiums, and also won the Masters of Formula 3. 2006 saw him win the GP2 title with 5 wins in 21 races, 1 pole, 7 fastest laps, 14 podiums. beating Nelson Piquet before, of course, making a big move to McLaren. Third place, it is indeed Roman Grosjean, who, for me, has really under-delivered on his junior potential. Won the 2003 Formula Lister Junior Series, which is 10 wins in 10 races, and I think a little series in France. Then in his second year of French Formula Renault, he won the championship in 2005 with 10 wins in 16 races and took 10 pole positions. 2000, then he spent 2 years in the Formula 3 Euro Series, where he won the championship in 2007 with 6 wins in 20 races, 4 poles, 7 fastest lap, 13 podiums, and also competed in other Formula 3 one-off races here and there. He also won 2 races in the British Formula 3 Championship in 2006. Then he moved to GP2 for the next 4 years, where he never always got his performances together, but when he did, he managed to win 2 GP2 Asia Series Championships in 2008 and 2006 with 5 wins in that category. Then he went to GP2, where in the 4 years he spent there, he won 9 times and took regular podiums and took quite a few pole positions, winning the championship in 2011 for Dams. He also competed for Dams in the Auto GP series, where despite only competing in 8 of the 12 races, he won 4 times and won the championship because he was just so good in such a short space of time. And kind of a bit disappointed to think of what he's done really in Formula 1 when you consider how quick he was, but he was never able to get the results together. Lando Norris for me is in second place. Finished third in the 2014 Ginetta Junior Championship with 4 wins in 20 races. 2015 saw him win the MSA Formula Championship for Carling with 8 wins in 30 races, of course. That was really a British Formula 4 Championship. He also competed in Formula 4 Championships in ADAC in Germany, where he won a race in the 8 races there. Also in Italy, and the BRDC Formula 4 Autumn Cup, where he won 2 races in 4 races for the HHC Motorsport team. 2016 saw him go to the Formula Renault 2.0 Euro Cup Series, Formula Renault 2.0 NEC Series, and the Toyota Racing Series in New Zealand, where he won all 3 championships with 17 wins in 45 races. He also won 4 races in 11 races in the BRDC British Formula 3 Championship. It was only a part-time schedule, meaning that he finished down in 8th place. Then 2017 saw him embark upon a full-time schedule in the European Formula 3 Championship in 2017, where he took 9 wins in 30 races, 8 poles, 8 fastest laps, 20 podiums in a fantastic campaign where he beat the likes of Joel Eriksson, Max Gunther, Callum Ilott, Jake Hughes, and many other talented junior drivers, with Mick Schumacher down in 12th place. Then in 2018 he went to the Formula 2 Championship, where he finished runner-up to George Russell, taking the win at the season opener at Bahrain, but consistently finished on the podium. But of course he was unable to mount a championship challenge. And in number 1, it is for me Nico Hulkenberg, who for me has had a fantastic junior career, winning the 2005 BMW ADAC Championship for Josef Kaufmann Racing, 8 wins in 20 races. Finished third in the Formula BMW World Final that year. Then he went to the German Formula 3 Championship, finished 5th with 1 win in 18 races. Also won a race in some endurance championship, VDV, don't know what that is. Then he went and dominated the A1 Grand Prix Series, which was, of course, back then the self-titled World Cup of Motorsport, where it was about it was about nations competing in a football-style World Cup tournament. 9 wins in the 20 races he did there, dominating the series. Also took 14 podiums in what was a fantastic campaign. Then he spent 2 years in the Formula 3 Euro Series, where he won 11 races over the 2 years. Also picked up 16 podiums. Won the Masters of Formula 3 in 2007. Also won the Formula 3 Euro Series in 2008. Then he moved up to GP2 for 2009, where he won the championship with 5 wins in 20 races and took 10 podiums. And with so much success behind him, it is quite somewhat disappointing to look at his F1 record and to realise that in the 79 races he started, he has had 0 podiums. A massive letdown if you ask me, but if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to Crystal Racing. I'll see you again next time.